Okay, good morning, guys. How are you doing today? Good morning, online. Good morning. Yes, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Okay, so did you completed your practicals? Volumes? Everyone? Done now? On Linux? Also done? Yes or no? Yes, So those who have not done, please take some time and then do it. Otherwise, if you have any questions or need help, check with the mentors. So mentors are there for you to help on these activities only. Okay. Na? Whatever is there, Harsha. Whatever is not there, it's not there. Simple as that. That should be the no VPC. I think yeah. If not, that's fine. Because the template is created in that VPC only. Okay. Guys, can you please confirm? Can you see my screen and can you hear me well? Okay. So today, let's take another very important topic. So what is that? Load balancer. So what is load balancer? Which distribute the traffic to multiple, should you call it as servers or EC2 instances? Pound light saver. Yeah. Oh. So load balancer used to distribute the traffic to multiple EC2 instances across availability zones. Okay. And this load balancer is completely managed by AWS. So how do we access a load balancer? Using DNS name. So that nasty URL, correct? And load balancer is a service or a server? It's a service. Okay. And there are different types of load balancers, no? What are those load balancers? Application load balancer, network load balancer, classic load balancer, gateway load balancer. So which is the load balancer that we should be using in our practicals? Application load balancer. And do remember we have target groups. So whenever you create the application load balancer, of course we should be having EC2 instances. Those EC2 instances should be in the group. And what is that group called? What does the target group contains? EC2 instances. And obviously the load balancer will do the health checks to the application, correct? Using health checks. So should we do it? So first I'll create the architecture. Based on that, we'll be doing it. Okay, now. And mainly here we need to talk about application, correct? We need to put some sample application in the EC2 instance. Yes or no? So we'll create a load balancer, we launch EC2 instance, that's fine. But what should be there inside the EC2 instances? Application should be there. So we need to deploy some sample application, no? So we are not going to deploy big Java-based application, .NET-based applications. That is not our job. So that you will be learning more about deploying applications in DevOps. But here, as we need to concentrate more on the AWS part, so I'll take one small sample application I'll be setting up in the machine. So, but this time we are not doing it manually. We are using user data. You're using what? Do you remember user data? What should we put? What type of script we should put in user data? Of course, that is bootstrap script. But for Linux, what script? Shell script. So we'll be launching Linux Red Hat EC2 instances. No. So for that, in user data, what scripting that we'll be putting it? Shell scripting. And this will be like this. That shell script also I'll explain. But what do we do is, Nana, if you need to have an application, first you need to have a web server, no? Yes or no? If you want to drink a water, that water should be in some vessel, right? It should be in bottle or it should be in glass. It should be on something. Correct? So application is also same. You consider consider application as a water. Water. R should be rolling. Okay. So that water is like your application. So you need to have a vessel, no? To hold that water, you need to have the vessel, right? So that vessel is nothing but here web server. The container is a web server. So inside the web server, you put the multiple applications. You take mandi biryani. Kya ji? You have one thali. Inside this, you have multiple things, no? If you take veg thali or non-veg thali, sorry, unnecessarily sir today. Okay, so what I want to tell you here is basically, so web server is like a holder. Inside this, you'll put the application. So that web server is nothing but a small software. That web server is nothing but a small software. You know what is the software that you need to install to make it as a web server is let's say, for example, we have Apache. What is that? Apache. We have Apache. So you have Tomcat. You have something called Apache. In another flavor, we call it as HTTPD. What is that? In some flavors, we call it as Apache. In some flavors, we call it as same Apache. We will call Apache 2, basically. So Apache 2, the same flavor. In another flavor, we call it as HTTPD. In Ubuntu, Nana. You know Ubuntu, right? In Ubuntu, we call it as Apache 2. Same software in Red Hat, we call it as HTTPD. That's a web server or not? So inside this web server, what we do is we'll put one small sample HTML file. That is our application. Okay. All these things will be using shell script. That means using user data. So how many EC2 instances that minimum you should have to set up a load balancer? 2. Is it mandatory to have 2? You can have 4, 5, 6, 10, 50, 100, how many you want, you wish, based on the capacity. How many, if you have 1 million, 10 million people trying to access it, so you need to go in some other different way. Okay, now, so what you need to do is, first of all, what we do is we'll go and launch the EC2 instance. First, we will go and launch the EC2 instance. How many EC2 instances we launch? 2 EC2 instance we launch. And this is EC2 instance. This is EC2 instance. And this EC2 instance is in 1A and this is in 1B. Okay, now. And inside this, the holder is what? HTTPD. And inside this, what I'll do is I'll set up one sample application called index.html. Yes or no? So this machine also have the same application or different application? Same, redundancy. Remember, for high availability, we discussed in starting days. What are those 3 things? RMF, redundancy, monitoring, and then failover. So as part of redundancy, you need to have the 2 EC2 instances should have the same application. So these 2 EC2 instances, we'll be launching it manually with user data. With the user data. That means, should we deploy this index.html manually? No. User data will write some script that automatically the script will go and work in the boot time and our index.html will be readily available. And when you launch the EC2 instance, it has its own IP address or not? How do I know? Let's say I have launched an EC2 instance with user data. A script got executed. That means our index.html also executed inside it. It's created or not? It deployed. How do I know my web application is working or not? So this EC2 instance has an IP address, no? Can I take that IP address and put it in the browser? If I put it in browser and hit enter, I should get index.html page or not? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. So first what we need to do is we need to launch two EC2 instances with the user data. After that, what we do is we'll take the IP addresses of each EC2 instance and we'll put it in the browser and make sure that is working or not. Now, if the application is not working on your EC2 instances, does it make any sense to create a load balancer? In the EC2 instance application is not working, what we'll do with the load balancer? So first we need to make sure our application is working on the EC2 instance. Then what the load balancer will do, load balancer will just distribute the traffic, that's it. So we need to make sure on the EC2 instance our application is working or not. So how do we make sure? We'll take the IP address and we put it in the browser. After creating this, and then by the way, we need to have a target group or not? We need to have a target group or not? These two EC2 instances should be inside the target group. What is the name of the target group? I can call it as app TG, application TG, target group. No. Yes or no? So first I have launched the EC2 instance. Okay, tell me what is the steps? What are the steps here? What is the first step? Launch how many? Two EC2 instances with the user data. Okay, now. So second step here is, okay, we know. Now I have application. How, in order to access my application, every EC2 instance is secured by what? Security group. Every EC2 instance is secured by the security group. So now what protocol that I need to allow in security group in order to access my application? Again, which one? HTTP, HTTPS. You clearly understand, no? Someone said SSH. Remember, I clearly wrote in the paint on those days. Three main protocols. Three main. Number one, SSH. When do you allow SSH? Right, Raisa? Okay. So Linux machine. If you have a Linux EC2 instance and if you want to connect it, so what is the protocol that you need to allow in your security group? SSH. Next one, RDP. So if you have a Windows EC2 instance, if you want to connect to the Windows EC2 instance, so which protocol that you need to allow? RDP. Next one is HTTP. So if you want to access your application, what is the protocol that you need to access? I need to inbound HTTP. If you want to securely use it, then HTTPS. And if you want to have a HTTPS, we need to have a certificates, no? Where do you create the certificates? Where do you create the certificates? Which service is that? ACM, Amazon Certificate Manager. So that is billable, no? So for that reason, should we go with HTTP or HTTPS? In real time, your company people might have already purchased the certificate. So you need to use that certificate in our load balancer. That's it. You understand the main protocols and do not get confused in your interviews. If this is the other interview questions, if someone say, hey, what is the protocol that to do the inbound rule if I have my application? What is that? HTTP. If we say yes, then he'll say go bye. Go re, huh? Go re. So be careful because see, there are few things with that answer. Let's say as an interviewer, just imagine in my experience how many interviews I might have done. Correct now. So okay, we have the same old saying. If you want to know the entire food, your rice is cooked, what will you do? You will take only one grain and then check it, no, test it, no, yes or no? Or will you do entire, put the hand and then do this? No, right? So we'll take it one and then you can easily test it, correct? Similarly in interview also, when we ask any question, the type that you are saying the answer, we can easily find out you are a worthable candidate or not. Easily. Like example, the same question that I've asked. So if you want to access your application, what is the inbound rule that you should add? If you say SSH, then you know what should I do as an interviewer? I need to take my two hands, put it in our pocket, and just walk out. రెండు చేతులు జేబులో పెట్టుకొని ఎటు వెళ్తున్నానో నాకే తెలియదు. So that meaning by seeing this, by listening this, I can easily say that it's not worth even put some time on you. So be careful, because these are very, very small basic questions. If you say wrong answers, how much ever big answer you are answering it, he will say that you are failed in the basic. If you don't know the basic, how will you do troubleshooting? That is the main cause, that I have started basics from starting in this class, because you need to be very good in the troubleshooting. Everyone will learn, everyone will work, but if you get an error, solving the technique is the very important thing. That is called troubleshooting. What is that? If something is not, let's say your phone is there, your phone, it's not working. What will you do? Will you do some troubleshooting by yourself or not? What will you do like this? You restart, you open it, and you do check something, no? Or will you blindly go to the shop and it's not working, check it? You don't do, right? So troubleshooting is very important. Okay, now. Okay, so the second step is in security group. What is the inbound rule? What is the protocol that I need to allow? HTTP. So that is the second. In security group, allow HTTP protocol. Third step. Sir, what is the difference between troubleshooting and debugging? Actually, this is a developer's question, right? So debugging meaning we'll be using in your code. Troubleshooting meaning if you get an issue, you are trying to solve it. That is troubleshooting, right? Debugging is like, let's say, for example, developers, please correct me. Debugging is like, let's say you wrote a piece of code and it's wrongly working. It's not working properly. So you enable the debug mode and see each and every line whether that is properly working or not. That is called debugging. Troubleshooting means if something is not working, you do trial and error method. Have you heard about it? Trial and error method. That is also one method. That method meaning you try to put trials, and in Flock it will work or not. So basically you are doing it, okay? Sir, in Bahrain region, instance type is available by default in spite of according to yeah, nothing to worry, Abdul. But doesn't matter, if you use Mumbai also, no problem, Abdul. It's not necessary that you use Bahrain. Okay, so number 3, Nana. So now you have launched 2 EC2 instances with user data, no? And then you have enabled the security group HTTP protocol. So how do you know now that your application is working or not? So take the IP address and put it in the browser. Yes or no? Yes. So here, check what is our application here, index.html. Check index.html is working or not by placing instance public IP to the browser. Clear? You understand these 3 steps. Next step. We need to create what? The diagram. You have launched an EC2 instances and you have next is target group. So we need to create a target group, no? So create target group. So while creating the target group, it asks, Babu, where are the targets? Which are our targets? These 2 EC2 instances are targets. So should I give the name as server 1 and server 2? So what are the create target groups and add targets? What is our targets here? EC2 instances. After that, finally, we need to create what? Load balancer. We need to create load balancer. Which type of load balancer? Application load balancer. And then finally, we need to access ELB DNS name, correct? To access your application. To access your application, load balancer, the nasty URL will be there. No, take that nasty URL and put in the browser and your application will work. Is it clear, these steps? No, you understand? So what is the first step? You tell me. Launch how many EC2 instances? 2 EC2 instances you need to launch. With what? User data. If you don't put user data, there is no application inside it. So we need to put the user data. After that, in security group, we need to allow the what protocol? HTTP protocol. And okay, HTTP protocol. Fine. Now what is the next step? Yes, check our index.html is working or not. How? By placing the IP address. Which IP address? Private or public? Public IP address to the browser. And make sure it is working or not. If it is not working, your user data is not correct. Or your security group in inbound rule, you have not enabled it properly. Once that is working, then we need to create a target group. So when you're creating the target group, it will ask, no, Babu, where are the targets? So which are our targets? EC2 instance are our targets. Then once you created it, after that, once you need to create a load balancer. And while creating a load balancer, it will ask, Babu, which target group? Because load balancer need to send the data, send the traffic to the target group. No, while creating application load balancer here, select target group. After that, once the load balance is created, take that nasty URL and put it in the browser and access the application. Clear? So now all these 6 steps are clear. Okay, after that, you need to create a load balancer. No, here. This is a load balancer. So now this one I call it as server 1. Which one? Here. This one I call it as server 1. This one I call it as server 2. And here we have load balancer doing the using health checks. On what port? What is the status code? 200. And this is what load balancer is. Application load balancer. And your application load balancer is listening on. Do you remember we discussed about listeners? HTTP and HTTPS. Very good. HTTP and HTTP. HTTP or you can go either with HTTP or HTTP. If it is HTTPS, use certificates. Otherwise, HTTP. And this load balancer should be internet facing, internal facing. Load balancer should be internet facing, internal facing. Clear? Internal netta. Very good. Internet. Because load balancer should be exposed to the internet. No, then only people can connect your load balancer. If it is internal, can other people from outside can connect your load balancer? No. Internal meaning it is only within your organization or within the VPC. So if you say internet, that meaning your website can be accessed by everyone. So this is to be, so internet facing. Clear? Okay, now everything is clear. Now let's talk about that user data. What is that user data? Shell script. No, what is that? Shell script. So I have the piece of code. I'll put it here and I'll explain what piece of code also. Okay. So let me take that code somewhere. Okay. And this is the small script. Don't worry, I'm there now. I'll try to answer. Okay. Okay. This is a script, Nana. What is this? Shell script. What is this? There are different types of scripts are available, no? So you have Python and PowerShell, Shell, Perl. Perl scripting is also there. Bash scripting is there. There are different types of scriptings are available, right? Based on the requirement, you need to choose it. So here, as we are on the using the Linux, so here we use what script? Shell script. So in order to know about the name itself is called shell script. What is that? Script, you know. You need to know what? Shell. You know what is shell? Shell. Shell. Acha. Shell bole to covering. But you know shell, yes or no? Don't hesitate. Yes, sir, no. No. If you say no, I'll start explaining it. Yes or no? Oh, no. Okay. So actually, these shell scripting, everything you will be learning in Linux, not here. But as you are my students, should I take one more extra step and teach you little bit different? Sure? Okay, na? Okay. So this is not my part, but you guys are intelligent. Slowly, you are taking me to Linux now. Okay. So majorly, we have two types of operating system. Nana, this is my extra. You are eating my time, huh? Okay. And if few minutes extended, also no problem. Correct? Because this is not in my agenda today. This extra topic. Sir, super calculated, huh? Okay. So majorly we have two types of operating systems. What are those? Windows, Linux. Windows and then Linux. So we don't need to talk about Windows because everyone are using Windows operating systems. Let us talk about Linux. Actually, this Linux you'll be learning in Linux class, but let me give a few things for you from my side, in my style. Not in regular Linux classes, but in my style. So now, first and foremost thing you tell me, Unix is first, Linux is first. Okay. Oh, you know what is Unix? We don't know Linux. Who cares about Unix? Huh? Okay. So Unix is also a one-to-one. Okay. If you want to know all these things, let's go to few years back. Ring. Let's go back. Okay. So అది 1991 right? So that was 19 or some year. I don't exactly remember that year, right? So there was one person called Ken Thompson. Who is that? Ken Thompson. So Ken Thompson is one of the, I would say, scientists. Then because if you look very nasty, clumsy, then obviously people will call you scientist. So he was a scientist, not scientist, normal guy. And but the thing is here, some business person came to this guy and asked, "Hey, Ken Thompson, I have a business deal for you. Can you help us?" Ken Thompson said, "Yes. Tell me what is a business. Tell me what is a requirement." And that guy, customer said, "Can you design a space war game?" What game? Space war. You know what is space war game? You play no? Here, all fighting. So that is space war. So in space war game. So the customer asked, "Can you please help me to create some space war game? I want some game." On those days, Windows was up and running. It's a top notch. It's top notch, basically. So on those days, only Windows operating system was there. So Ken Thompson thought, okay, on those days, Windows, when we were very starting days, there were no, the Windows that you are using is not the Windows before. We had something called DOS. Have you heard about DOS? Disk Operating System. Disk Operating System. So basically, how many of you use DOS? Obviously. So I still remember in my school days, there is a outside, computer shop is there, computer institute. So on those days, it was very famous. Computer meaning, if you are computer, you are a rich person on those days. So we had a very anxiety that we need to see the computer. So in computer institute, the previous computers, how does it look like? back is very bad. Like, the back of computer is very big. That big monitor, and you have the CPU here. And it is not only 1 GB RAM also, it's very hard. So if you open that, everything is black color. Everything is in black color. And the cursor will be blinking. Like how you have a terminal, command prompt. That was the command prompt. There is no GUI. What is GUI? Graphic. There is no graphical user interface. There was a black color cursor will be showing and need to write command. If you want to create a directory, mkdir. If you want to list, ls. So there was no graphical user interface. For each and everything, you need to write a command. That is called DOS. So everything is through the command line only. And that too, only one user, one process. What is that? Process is only the one command prompt only. No, is there any other application that you are opening? No, it's only one process running. Only one person can use it. Single person, single process. Say that. Is it possible to log into Windows operating system? 2 persons can log in? No. Multiple processes, can you do it? No. On those days, DOS. Now, coming to the space war game, is it only single person will use, single person will play single space war game? War meaning you need to have multiple people. What only one person will do? He need to do himself like war. So his requirement here is multiple people, multi-process. See here, multiple people, multiple process. Windows are supporting that. Windows is single user, single process. Here he need to have multiple users, multiple process. So Ken Thompson decided that Windows will not work. For that reason, what he did was he started creating his own operating system. Right? And he named it as Unix. So it is universal. So for somehow he has set up everything. So in his computer, he tried everything and everything is perfectly working. Good. And he designed the space war game. Now, he has done in his machine, no? On those days, laptops, no laptops, the very big computers. Who invented computer? That person, okay. So now that whatever the code that he has written, he need to take out that code and put it in some other machine, no? Yes or no? Like how you are removing the pen drive and putting it somewhere. Similarly, the entire code has to be removed and then put it in the other machine. At that time, he don't know how to compile his code. For that reason, he took help with Dennis Ritchie. Have you heard about Dennis Ritchie? Who is Dennis Ritchie? Huh? Oh. Father of C language. Father of C. Don't ask who is mother. I don't know. Only father of C language. So what he did was this Ken Thompson and Dennis Ritchie, they combined each other and compiled the code in C language. And then they made a product called software or Unix operating system. So now those people, see all these big people are from very big university called AT&T Labs. That scientist people will be there, right? So all those things, big universities are there. AT&T Labs, Bell Laboratories, all these things are big. So people used to work there, all these people. So later, these two people are very, very kind persons. And what they did was whatever they have developed, they made it as open source. What is that? Open source meaning what? Free. Open source meaning free. The entire code is available for everyone. And what next generation people did was nasty things is some people took that code and they put the brain on it and try to enhance the code. And they, based on their brain and knowledge, they have created their own features. Yes or no? I have something. I invented something. And if you are a very smart and genius guys, what you do? You take this code and you develop your own stuff, right? According to your requirements. And like this, everyone in every year, people started setting up their own versions, operating systems. So later, there is a guy called Andy Tannenbaum, or you call it as Andy. This Andy is the guy who is having the latest code of Unix with lot of features. And that too, what these people did was, they have not made it as open source. They are charging for the operating system. So when Unix was free, open source, Windows business went to zero level, because everyone started using Unix at that time. Because Unix is multi-user, multi-process. Understood? Windows was also command prompt. Linux is also command prompt. So it has more features. Windows has only one feature. For that reason, all these Windows operating system went very badly down. So Unix was up. It's a number one. So later when Andy started, he has his latest operating system with him, and Andy started charging for the operating system. When people started, it's everything is, see, if something is free, we'll go and purchase. If so, we'll go and take it. If they say that, hey, this is chargeable, then will you go for it? No. So same way, like people, what they did was, they stopped going to Unix, and again they moved back to Windows, as he got a GUI concept there. So who is the latest operating system? Andy. Who is having the latest operating system? Andy. So once in 1 year, one person, one student like you, he was in Finland, where I used to work. I spent so many years in Finland. So in Finland, we had a Finland University was there. So what that guy did was, obviously in the final year, you need to do some project, no? In final year, you need to do the project. So that guy wanted to do something really new. So what he did was, that student, he went to the latest sensation guy, Andy, and he asked, Andy, can you give me that code? I want to do some project on it. And he said, Chalbe, I don't give. Oh, you don't give, ah. So somewhere that student got fired up. I asked you, you don't give that code to me. See what I'll do. So what he did was, he took the original code of Ken Thompson. He took the original code of Ken. That was open source or not? He took that code, and he has developed, with his genius, with his super extraordinary skills, he has developed so many features, right? So many features, and he made his own operating system. And his name, that student name is Linus Torvalds. Who is that? Linus Torvalds. As his name is Linus Torvalds, he has given his own name called Linus, and slowly that has been changed to Linux. You call it as Linux, no? Call it as Linux. Understood? So this guy now is hero at that time. Linus Torvalds not only developed Linux, he has developed so many tools also, which we are using nowadays. So now this Linus Torvalds has developed, and again he made it as open source. Back to business. So now everyone started using Linux. Since then, Linux is open source, because the author of Linux is Linus Torvalds. You understand? So after that, by the way, what is the logo of Linux? Penguin. What is the logo? What is Apple logo? Apple, no? Yes or no? Red Hat logo? Had no. Similarly, for Linux, so the logo is penguin. You know how he made it penguin? Since our childhood, we have heard this, no? In Apple company, why you got Apple, that symbol, half cracked symbol, Apple? Since our childhood, people said this. I don't know whether you remember or not. So maybe that owner is trying to eat the apple and he asked everyone what is the logo, and whatever he has put as. Have you heard about this? Yeah. So similarly, there is a one small funny story about this Linus guy, why he made this logo as penguin. So generally, when you are very happy in India, where do you go? Huh? Where do you go? Tell me. Goa. Okay. Okay, let's take Goa. You have what is there in Goa? Beaches. And I will not ask who is there in the beach, but right. So in beaches, people are there. But here in our like everywhere, I also went, right? You see the beaches, people are there, and dogs also there, right? But this guy also, he was very happy, and he went to also the same kind of beach, not Goa. So in that US or wherever he is, in his beaches, he saw penguins. In our beaches, we see dogs. Okay, so there we had penguins, and this guy, he went to that penguin. So whenever you see something really nice pet, what will you do? You go to Nana, hi, hello, bochu, chuchu. So you'll say, right? I mean, right? So what do you do? So he also went and patted the penguin, and somewhere the penguin got hurted, and the penguin bit him. Korikindi, right? Then he thought that that was a really superb feeling and moment for him. And then he made his operating system logo as penguin. That is a story. And he written, I read it, and I'm telling you, you're listening it. Because big people, whatever they do is sensation, right? So that's is how he made it as penguin as a logo. Okay, come. So come back here. Now you understand which one is first, which one is next, and how the Linux came, correct? Since the Linux made has open source again, people started again, they have their own features. That's why we have so many flavors nowadays. You have ice cream. Ice cream is universal. I mean, ice cream taste is normal. And now you have so many flavors, no? What are the flavors that you have? Vanilla, strawberry, pista, chocolate, right? You have so many things, but ice cream is ice cream only, no? But you have so many flavors. Assume ice cream is as a Linux, and flavors are Red Hat to Ubuntu, SUSE, Amazon Linux, right? Kali Linux. So they have so many flavors like this. So based on your requirement, you need to choose one of the flavor. This is the story of Linux. Now, and you know very well, Windows and Linux is completely different. Windows is GUI based and Linux is CLI based. In Linux also we have GUI, but many people don't use GUI based, right? In Linux and in Windows, everything is like GUI where you need to go and click everything. Desktop. Okay, let's say for example, in C drive, you have so many folders, no? In C drive is operating system drive, and inside that you have system32, program files, everything will be there. Users also there, no? Whenever you log in, user profile will get created in the user directory or not? And if you install any software, it will come to the program files or not? Similarly, in Linux also, everything will start with root. Everything will start with what, Nana? Root. That is slash. And inside that, you have so many directories. Like what are the directories? Let's say /etc, /bin, /home, /var, /temp, /sbin. There are so many directories like that. Each and every directory is specialized for something. So Nana, in our Windows also, all your softwares are installed in program files, and profiles are created in users directory. Yes or no? Similarly, here also, each and every directory has its own specialty. Let's say you have logged into the Linux machine. and your profile is created under home. Under home, let's say, for example, Tom has logged in. What is his profile? /home/Tom. His profile is created. Jerry has logged in. /home/ and our default Linux username. What is the default Linux username? EC2 minus user. If he logged in, what is the home directory? /home/EC2 minus user. So each and everything will get created under the home directory. That is called home directory. So that is your workplace. Whenever you log into the machine, Linux machine, you will be under /home and your folder, your directory. Okay. So now var represent all your logs. Logs will be under var. Temporary, and you have etc. All your softwares, everything will be under /etc. You understand? And now slowly you're taking me into deeper. When I touch, I cannot go. Okay, I don't go deep. So what is this? Doordarshan? Let's say here you have a hardware. On top of it, you have a kernel, shell, on top of it, you have your command prompt, no? CMD command prompt. This is the architecture of your Linux. So can you give me a few commands, Nana? Do you know a few commands on Linux? ls cat mkdir touch echo vi. ls is done. Head, wow, tail, df, what is the file? Okay, sed, ps, copy, remove, grep, user add, chmod, chown, next umask, vi done, cat is done. Okay, cat unzip, right? Clear command, right? Oh, well, cd. Have you done cd? Okay, cd. So within few history, okay. So within couple of seconds, we have listed so many commands. So many people ask, sir, do I need to learn Linux? If you know top command to check all the memory CPUs, yes. So if you, I'll put top here, place is there. So if you learn these few commands, that will be sufficient. No need to be going deeper inside it. Okay, let's say for example, now, see here. Let's say you have done ls. The command will go to whom? It will first go to shell. From shell, it will go to kernel. From kernel, it will take the resources from hardware. Hardware will give the resource to kernel. What is kernel? Kernel is the core component of the operating system. So operating system is fine, but inside that we have the kernel. So entire code, all your commands will be executed inside the kernel. So remember, kernel, I told you, in when you're launching the EC2 instance, you have the kernels and all. So that is a kernel, and kernel will execute the code, or also you can say kernel is the interface between shell and your hardware. And also, and it will give to the shell, and shell will give to the command. This is how it. And what is the shell? Can we say shell is interface between your command prompt and your kernel? Curl is very shy, Abba Purush type, right? So that meaning it's very shy. You cannot see the shell. So it will be backside of your command prompt. You see the command prompt, no? And when you type ls, the first the command that will be taken by first whom? Shell only. So shell will take, he'll put the hand like this. And then give me the, hey, who are you? I don't tell, please give me the command. Right? And it will take the command and it will give to the kernel. So like this, shell is taking it. Shell is a very important component here. Tell me, without shell, your commands will execute? No. So for this, we have different types of shells in Linux. So the first shell was invented. I don't remember his name, but his name is Bon, maybe. Yeah. Bon shell. What's that? Bon shell. So there are so many shells are available, and all your shells will be in which directory? Bin. Which directory? /bin. Let's say /bin /sh. Okay, let's say, and then you have K shell is there, C shell is there, right? And finally, the latest shell is bash shell. Which one, Anna? Bash shell. We call it as bin bash. Which one? /bin /bash. So this shell will be where? Here. It will be sitting under bin bash shell, or we call it as bash shell. What we call it as? Bash shell. So very important thing is, I say, in Linux, basically, majorly, there are two types of distributions are there. This is called born again shell, correct? So the latest shell, we call it as born again shell. Born again shell. So here, majorly, we have two types of distributions. One is called RPM based and Debian based. What is it, Nana? RPM based, Debian based. All your Red Hat, CentOS, Fedora, all these things will come under RPM based. Ubuntu, SUSE, etc. All these will come under Debian based flavors. But I told you which one we should be using is Red Hat. No, that will come under which distribution? Distributions. Red RPM based. So here you call some name. Here in Debian you call some other name. For example, if you want to install a web server, here we call it as HTTPD. Here we call it as Apache 2. So here, if you want to install any software in Linux, so what is the command that you should use? Yum install. What is that? Yum install. What is the command to install any package? Yum install. And here we call it as apt-get. What is it, Nana? Apt-get. Here we call it. So both does the same thing, but here you call it as yum install. Here you call it as apt-get. So which one we are using now? RPM based. So which one you should use? Yum install. Enough. I'll not go deeper now. Is it clear till here? Linux, few minutes from me. Huh? I'll go back to my old. आओ जाओ घर पे. Okay. Okay, Nana. So understand? So I hope you like this Linux little bit view. Did you like it? In my style? Huh? Nice. Okay, so see Priyanka, sir, are you teaching Linux in Naresh Technologies? No, I am for AWS. Okay, let's do one thing. No, I don't commit. No, please, no, hold on. Okay, come back. So no. So other people are there, no? So you should not touch that. Kiska khana, unoj khana. Okay. See here. So this is the user data shell script. No. So based on the knowledge that you got till now, basically, let's talk here. What is the first line, Nana? Bin bash. Did we just learn about bin bash? What is that bin bash called? Shell, no. So which is the latest shell that we are using? bin bash. So when you're executing any script, the first line need to mention the shell. If you don't mention the shell, will your script will work? You understand? For that reason, the first line should be about the shell information, and we call it as shebang. What we call? Shebang. The first line of the shell, we call it as shebang. You can give bin bash also, bin CSS also, KSS also, con shell, shell shell, K shell, everything you can give. But which is the latest one we are using here? Bash shell. Okay. What is the next command here? Next command here is, Nana, we need to install that web server, no? So what is the command to install? Yum install. What is that? Yum install. Yum install. What is the software name that we are installing? HTTPD. So if you want to install any package or a software, what is the command that you should use? Yum install and the package name. So here package name is what? HTTPD. And then where we are giving -y. So let's say if you're installing any software in your laptop, it will ask, no, hey, are you sure you want to install? Yes. Hey, it is taking 200 MB space. Are you sure? Are yes, Rabhai. Hey, are you sure you want to install again? Are yes, Rabhai. Yes for everything. -y, -y is yes for everything. It's not interactive. Automatically, your entire things will get installed automatically. Understood? So here, what are you doing here? You're installing HTTPD service. Now, once you install HTTP service, what do you need to do? You purchased a bike, and if you want to go on the bike, what will you do first? Start, no? So service is installed. So you need to run that service first. You need to start that service. Whenever you install any package or any service, so by default, it is in stop state. What you need to? You need to start it. What is the command to start here? Service. Which service? HTTPD start. So this one here, I'm writing here for you. To start HTTPD service. Okay. Next one here. I have mentioned this here. What is that? Read it. Check config HTTPD on. Check config. So check config meaning here, let's say for example, I'm giving a real-time example. Listen this properly. Now you have launched one EC2 instance and installed Apache. HTTPD. And you have application running. And all of a sudden you stop the EC2 instance. Your HTTPD also will stop or not? Yes. And then you started the EC2 instance. By default, HTTPD service will be started or in stop state. It is in stop state. It is in stop state. Whenever you start the EC2 instance, HTTPD service will be in which state? Stop state. You need to go and start it. So until then, your application will be in down or not? Is it good? So whenever you start the EC2 instance, automatically HTTPD also should get auto start. Yes or no? That is good. So if I know need to log in and then manually start the service, how many service I can start like this? For that reason, this important service, what you can do is you can make it as auto start. So check config HTTPD on is a auto start. You understand what is the point? So this is called auto start. So auto start HTTPD service. And now, okay, now HTTPD is installed. But let's say, for example, and you have some file. And every file has some responsibility, where it should be in. Let's say you have some file. Will you put it in desktop? There are few files you need to put in on desktop. There are few files you need to put in D drive. There are few things that you need to put in some particular directory. Yes or no? So here also, once the HTTPD service is installed, so your application you should put the application in particular directory only. Which directory? /var/www/html. What is the directory here? Say that /var/www/html. Under this HTML, you need to put the application. If you put the application in this directory, then only HTTPD service will understand, Are Babu, this guy has put some application in me, I need to deploy it. If you put it in some other directory, does the HTTPD will know? He will not know. For that reason, if you want to have the application running, in which directory you need to put it? /var/ww/html. What is the application that we are putting it here in EC2? Index.html. So your index.html should be in which directory? /var/www/html/index.html. So now, so this one is basically, what is it? Your application is here. And finally, echo. What is that? And in small, is there no, what is called inverted, double quote, single quote. So here we have single quote. In this single quote, whatever I have written, what I have written here, hey, this is my first website on EC2. Basically, this will go and print. Echo is basically printing. So this command, this data, this content will be, you see here arrow mark meaning, let's say you see me, then I see, like I put like this. That means what? You will get redirected this way or not? Yes or no? Traffic constable also will do. He'll say that stop and then like this. So you will get redirected that way, right? So here also, whatever the data that you're putting in echo, that will go in redirect and print in which file? Index.html. Whatever you put in echo, everything will go and sit inside the index.html. Does index.html is created separately? No, I'm creating in the runtime only. So this greater than symbol basically is for redirect, or this greater than symbol is to create a file also. Whatever the data is there in echo, entire thing will get redirect to which file? Index.html file. If I use double like this, what is this meaning? This is append. Is it good to append every time? No. You understand this? Anna, is this clear? Clear? The shell script is clear. So this is the only script that I'll be using for entire the course. Any questions? So append meaning, so the same data will get added to the end of the file. Add करते जाएगा. Same. अब देखो, this is my first website on EC2. एक बार run किया तो index.file में you will get only one line. If you use double greater than, so save and you run the script again, the same data will get one more time in their index. So append, add करते जाएगा. Nana, is this clear, everyone? Which one? Echo whatever is there inside. That's what I'm telling. Whatever is there in single quotes, all this will get written in index.html. Clear? Now what we do? Should we go and execute these six things? Okay. What is the first thing that we should go and do? Launch how many EC2 instances? 2 EC2 instances. Should I copy this user data and put it there? And Nana, here I call it as server 1 and then server 2. So can I say, hey, this is my first website on server 1? Can I say server 1? And when I'm putting user data in server 2, I'll say server 2. Just to show you the load balancing. Actually, in real time, the application should be same. But here I'm putting server 1, server 2, just to show you how it is load balancing. Should we go and launch it now? Great. So please expect a few minutes delay today, because you took Linux from me. So, that's why I should not show you the trailer. Then you'll ask, sir, movie. Okay, Nana. So you tell me, I will do it. Okay. First, how many EC2? First, you should be in which region? Mumbai region. So let's go to EC2 and then launch the EC2 instance. So let's go ahead and launch. Launch instance. How many EC2 instances I should launch? I call it as server 1. And then here, browse more AMIs. Retire here. Red Hat. Come down. T2 micro is fine. Key pair, 9M batch. Edit this and put it in 1A and select default security group and come down. And we have user data, no? Where is user data? Here. What should I do? I need to copy, paste it. But here I call it as server 1. I'm reminding you again. I'm putting a small index.html. In your real time, you have big applications like Java, .NET, Python, big applications will be there. Will you do it through user data? No. So what you need to do, you need to log into the EC2 instance, install Tomcat, whichever it is, and then you need to deploy the application as I said, and you need to create an image out of it. And from that image, you can launch multiple EC2 instances. Every EC2 instance will have the application. As I have the small application, for that reason, I'm going with the user data. Clear? Now let's go ahead and then launch instance. And should I go and launch one more EC2 instance? Go here and then launch. This one, I call it as server 2. Browse more AMIs. Select. T2 micro. 9M batch. Edit. This time I put it in 1B so that so that we'll know load balancer can send the traffic to multiple EC2 instances across availability zones. For that reason, I'm selecting 2 different availability zones. Select this and advanced details. Come down and paste it, and I call it as server 2. And then launch. Now we have launched 2 EC2 instances. So you need to wait or not? So you need to wait until these 2 are up and running. 2/2 checks are passed. So meanwhile, what is the next step? Logic you should understand. Don't wait for the steps. You launch 2 EC2 instances. What is the next step? In security group, we need to allow what protocol? HTTP protocol. So meanwhile, let's go and then enable protocol. So security groups, you tell me how to do. Select inbound rules, edit inbound rules, add rule. I don't know how to do, tell me. Here, HTTPD, here, my IP. So some people are saying, sir, once I come back, let's say save rules. Again, I went here. You see, again, it changed to custom. It's a quite normal, natural behavior. You don't need to worry on that. Okay. Okay, security groups are done. So let's go to instances. It are still initializing. What we need to do now, Nana? What's the next step? See. So now we have launched 2 EC2 instances with application inside it. So we need to know that applications are working or not. So what we need to do for that? We'll take the IP address. Which IP address? Public or private? Public IP address for the EC2 instances. And by the way, tell me. Okay, now I'll take this server 1. You see public IP is there. But in real time, do you assign public IP for the EC2 instances? Don't. But if you want to see, I want to here now we have enabled public IP because we need to connect to it, right? In real time, do you enable public IP to the EC2 instance? 100% no. But if you want to connect to the EC2 instance, how do you connect? Through private IP, through VPN, So because no one will be connecting from internet. As we are learning here, we are in the internet. But when you're working in the company, you will be connecting through VPN. So remember, in real time, do not enable public IP address to the EC2 instances. Please write down in your book somewhere. Meanwhile, in real time, do not enable public IP address to the EC2 instances. In real time, do not enable public IP. In real time, do not enable public IP to the EC2 instances. With the load balancer. Next, with the load balancer. In next line, if you want to connect to the EC2 instances, if you want to connect to the EC2 instances in real time, if you want to connect to the EC2 instances in real time, connect through VPN, connect through VPN with private IP. Of course, yes, Rupali, correct. No, don't write that. I am answering. Done, na? Okay, good. Now, do you see this here? Now we have 2/2 checks are passed. What we need to do now? Copy the public IP address and then take here and then put it here. And then boom. Do you see this? It's working. So same thing, we need to take a second server and then copy and then paste it. It's working. So that meaning our application is deployed properly. If it is not working from here, if it's not working here, don't go to load balancer. Try to troubleshoot it. So the problem might be your user data might have wrong, or somewhere one command or one exclamatory or one small that might have removed, or in security group, you have not enabled the HTTP protocol. Only these two things. Okay. Now done. What is the next step? Create a target. First, we need to create a target group, no? With the targets. So you tell me, where is the target group? On the left side, we have target groups. Create a target group. So here you have so many options. So choose a target type. You have instances, lambdas, what you have? Instances only. Select the instances. Target group name. I call it as app.tg. And it's working on which protocol? HTTP. In real time, can you go with HTTPS also? HTTP on what port number? 80. Are you using IPv4 or IPv6? v4. Default VPC or not? Yes. Which version? You go with the HTTP default version. And then here we have health checks. Here we have health checks. So health checks meaning application health checks. Yes or no? So you are doing health checks to application or not? So here you're doing health checks to whom? Index.html. Yes or no? So here on HTTP, you need to put here index.html. Remember, many people will do the mistake here. They remove the slash here. No, you need to put /index.html. You understand? Load balancer will go and check EC2 and say, hey, index.html is there or not? Are you there or not? Are you there or not? It will go and be doing the health checks. And if you have given the wrong thing here, your health checks will fail. Your load balancer will not work. Advanced. Here we have healthy threshold. First your load balancer will say, hey, index, let's say she's server 1, she's server 2. And I'm the load balancer doing the health checks. I'll say index.html, are you there? It will send the response as what? 200. It will send the response as 200. So 200 meaning it's working, successfully working or not. Then I'll check how many times? 5 times. Healthy threshold. Are you there? Index.html. Yes. Are you there? Yes. Are you there? Yes. How many times? 5 times. Then only I will consider that machine is healthy. Next one is unhealthy threshold. I'll say, hey, index.html, are you there? No. I need to verify, no? Are you there? No. How many times? Then I'll consider health checks are failed. That meaning the machine is not working for me. That is unhealthy threshold. Next is here, timeout. Index.html, are you there? How many seconds? If I'm not getting reply within 5 seconds, I'll consider as fail. How many, in how much intervals that I'm checking index.html? Every 30 seconds. Every 30 seconds, I'll go and knock the door. So, and what is the success status code? So you don't need to do anything. That is advanced section. In real time, if you want to change it, you can change it. But now, not required. Nana, is this clear? Step number 1. Huh? Nice. Click on next. Here, available register targets. Yes or no? We are creating a target group. Inside that, what you need to register? Targets. What are targets? EC2 instances. Which are the EC2 instances we need to register? Server 1, server 2. So here it is saying available instances. Which one? Server 1. Select these 2 and then include as pending below. Many people, all they do is here, they'll just select it and click on next. They will register it? No. So you need to click on include as pending. Then it will come here. Pending for what? Health checks. So load balancer will do the health checks, no? You have given no /index.html health checks. So load balancer will go and start pinging it. Now at the moment it's pending because it's not started yet. Is it clear? And I cannot stop saying you one real-time thing here. No, your index.html is working on which port number, which protocol? HTTP port number. So here you have enabled 80. In our basics, we have learned for customer, it should be default port number only all the time. Yes or no? For customer, is it good to put it as facebook.com:12143? Because HTTP should be always work on port number 80. HTTPS should be working on always 443. Yes or no? They should have the default port numbers. So let's say, for example, here your application working on 8080. Then now tell me, your application working on. So the request will come through here. The request is coming on 80 only on not. And it come here, but your application working on 8080. Is it matching both? Will it work? This is the real time. For that reason, what you need to do, you know, from customer, let him come on 80 only, or let him come with 443 only. No issues. Let him come with these 2. But your application is working on 8080, no? It's not good. For that reason, what you need to do here is the guy. This guy. You need to change it to 8080 here. So to the load balancer, it will come to 80. But from load balance to target groups, it will go with, it will convert the traffic to which port number? This is the real time. However you want to write, you can write, right? Because this is a real time. So while you can redirect the port numbers, you can change the port numbers in the target groups. Okay, now, so keep that in mind. Now, is it clear? This section 443. Yes. Now click on create group. Yes, you can. No. Can we give multiple port numbers there? No, you cannot give like this. No, because your application will be working on only one port number. No, it can't work on multiple port numbers. Both, it includes for both. It includes for both. Nana, do you know? Maybe you can write that question. Maybe we'll talk later, huh? If you didn't understand. Is it clear, Anna? How to create a target group is clear, everyone? Okay. So this is a target group I have created. And then we'll come to these points later. So now target groups got created. What is the next step? We need to create a load balancer now. Yeah. See, go with the logics. Huh? Rehearsal classes meaning logics. So go to the load balancer. Should we go and create a load balancer now? Create load balancer. Now, which load balancer you need to select? Excellent. So we need to click on create here. Create. How load balancer work? We know this already, correct? You know it. Load balancer name. What is the name? Huh? Kumari. No. What? App. Oh, call it as app one or my ELB or whatever. Any name is fine here. Okay. In real time, please remember naming conventions. What is that called? Naming convention meaning you cannot randomly give whatever name that you like. So you need to give the product name. Your company will give the naming conventions. Based on the naming conventions, you need to give the names. You cannot create just like that based on your own names. Schema, internet facing, internal facing. IPv4 or IPv6. V4. Dual stack meaning it gives both IPv4 and IPv6. Let's go with IPv4. Next, it is in the default VPC. And which availability zones your EC2 instances are? 1A, 1B. Do you need 1C? Not required because our EC2 instance is not in 1C. But if you have 1C, can you select 1C also? And this is the place where it is proving load balancer is sending the traffic to multiple availability zones. Hence, proved. Okay. Next, coming to the security group. So which is the security group is already selected here? Default security group. Can we have your own security group also? Yes, but do you create it? No, don't create it now. Once we go to VPC, there we'll create it. Next is listeners and routings. Okay, a very important. See, which protocol your website is working, what port number, and forward to which target group? Yes or no? Yes or no? Can we create multiple target groups also? Whichever you have your machines, select the target group. Very good. Now, do you remember global accelerator? We learned. I told you, but it's additional charges apply. It takes $18 per month, right? But don't enable it. But have you learned about global accelerator? It's just a matter of click. That's it. You give the name, automatically get created and attached to your load balancer. Do not do it. Is it clear? That's it. Do you all understand how to create a load balancer? Give the name, internet facing, IPv4, VPC, select the availability zone, which security group, default security group, and here is important. Here is important. So here is HTTP, Nana. If you say add a listener, you can add this is HTTP already added. Can you add HTTPS also in future? Yes, you can select. But we are working only on HTTP. In real time, it should be HTTP. Yes. And then you need to select a target group here. And go ahead and click on create load balancer. So now load balancer, what is the state of the load balancer here? Provisioning. What is it, Nana? Provisioning. So let's wait until it is available. Until it is active, we need to wait. Meanwhile, we see the target groups. What is there in the target groups? Targets. What is there in target groups? Target. In detail section, you will get the entire information. You see here, targets. So now, do you see this important? Do you see this here? Targets, how many targets are there here? 2. What are those? Server 1, server 2. Your application working on which port number? 80. Which zones? And health status. Just now we have added load balancer and load balancer is trying, going and knocking it now. And within few seconds, now This health status should be healthy. What is that? If it is not healthy, it is unhealthy. Unhealthy meaning your status checks are failed. If status checks are passed, then it says healthy. Make sure if your load balance is not working, come here and check your targets are healthy or not. If it is healthy, then only to receive the traffic, otherwise unhealthy. So let's refresh it, and still it is initializing. And this, it is initializing, no, what is that meaning called? Target registration. What is it called, Nana? Target registration. That meaning target is getting registered in your target group. So let's wait for a couple of seconds, and then it is initializing. After that, we'll get it. So next is, you know very well, you can monitor it, how it is working, how many unhealthy hosts and all. Health checks, it is /index.html. So timeout 5 seconds, every interval, how many seconds? 30 seconds, status code. Can anytime go and modify your health checks? Yeah. Edit it and modify this in your real time. And coming to attributes. Here also same. Delete. Can you register the targets? We already registered the targets. Okay, let's say, Nana, here targets are, how many targets are there? 2 are there. Oh, do you see this now? Healthy. So if this is meaning healthy, load balancer has confirmed it is healthy, no? That means your load balancer will work or not now? No. First, let's see the load balancer and come back. What is the load balancer status here? Active. So, and if you see here, bottom, and do you see this nasty URL here? How do you access your load balancer? Using what? Do you see this here, DNS name? Copy, and then here, paste. And if everything is perfect, your website will work like this. This is through load balancer. Nana, I access my load balancer. First request will go to first server. Second, when I refresh the load balancer, second request will go to second server. Third request will go to first server. Do you see this? Should I refresh now? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Load balancing. This is called what? Load balancing. Do you remember round robin? This is the live example of load balancing round robin method. Understood? For to show you this dancing 1, 2, for that reason I have given as server 1 and server 2 user data. Otherwise, you can keep it as same application. Nana, this is the application that I'm just small application. Can you have your big application here also? No, of course. You can have your entire Amazon Facebook page also here. But the only things you need to deploy. You need to have the application and deploy it. Do you all understand how to set up load balancer? And quickly, okay, if server 1 down, of course, go and stop server 1, and your website will work or not? Of course it will. The website will go to server 2. And there is a question, Ibrahim, not secure. Why, sir? This one you see, not secure. Why? Because we are using which protocol? HTTP. If you pay some money, then I'll show you how to set up HTTP certificate also. Right? So, okay, few more minutes. Don't worry, because we need to finish it off. No, load balancer. See here, because you'll miss some important points. That's the reason. See here. Now let's see some actions in target groups. Nana, for everything we'll go to actions and learn. No, right? So if you go to actions now, how many EC2 instances are there? 2. Can I add 3 and 4 also here? Anytime you can go and add. Now in one target group, I have only 2. Later, if you have 3 and 4 or 5 and 6 or 10 and 12, you can go and add it also. Yes. How you want to add it? Actions, register targets. If you click on register targets, so already these 2 are there. We already added. If you have more, you can still add it. So next, edit health checks. You can edit it. Edit target groups attributes. Let's say. This is deregistration delay. What is it? Deregistration delay. Deregistration delay meaning I showed you registration. It said no, registration in progress. Let's say if you want to remove server 1 or server 2 from the target group, what is registration we have done, and now we are doing deregistration. Deregistration meaning what? Removing from the target group. Now we can say deregistration delay. Let's say, for example, in target group, one server 1 is there. So this guy is started accessing my application and he is connected to server 1. He's connected to server 1. Now I want to remove server 1. Customer is connected already. Is it good to remove? Do I need to manually remove or it will get automatically removed? See, now also you can manually remove. But if you have auto scaling, scale out, scaling will be happening automatically, no? Scale in meaning what? Removing only, no? So will it do this is automatic or manual? Automatic, no? So let's say for example, server 1 is there, the customer is connected. Is it good to remove auto scaling? No, but you have to remove. In that case, what you need to do? It will give how much time? 300 seconds time. Deregistration delay. If any customer is already connected to that machine, it will give how much time? 300 seconds. That meaning how many seconds? How many minutes? 5 minutes. So that we call it as in-flight request. What is this called? In-flight. In-flight request meaning the connections are already established to the server 1. Server 1 will give you 5 minutes, finish the connection, and then kill by himself. That meaning removing it off. That is called re-registration delay. Do you see this time to wait for in-flight request to complete while deregistering a target? Correct or not? Understood? That is called deregistration delay. Very important, right? As I don't have time, you can write, or else please write. Deregistration delay. Deregistration delay in load balancer. Right. Okay, Rana? Okay. See here. And now, just now we have seen round robin method, no? There is also another method called least outstanding request. That meaning whichever server has its least request, the next request will go to that. So I have given you, let's say I have given you 100 rupees. I have given you 500 rupees. Next time, if I want to give some money, to whom I will give 100 rupees. So that means that is least outstanding request. That method also. Yeah. Slow start duration also same thing. Slow start duration meaning what? Whenever you register the target to the target group, immediately it will work. No, it will take some time. No, slow start duration. That is called slow start duration. And an important thing here is stickiness. What is it? Generally, what is stickiness meaning? Stick. So now, for example, here we have it. I want to stick to only one server. I want to stick to only one server. Do you see this here? I want to stick to only one server. All my requests will go to only one server. You can enable stickiness like this. Turn on stickiness. And I'll say how many minutes? I'll say for 2 minutes. If I go and click on save. So now it will get stick for, let's see, refresh 1 2 1 2 1 2. It will get stick to one server. See quickly. Do you see this now? It got sticked to server 1. This is called stickiness. So this will be helpful for the developers in order to do some session managements. Okay, Nana? You understand stickiness? So those are the options in the target group. And coming to okay, coming to the load balancers. Very important thing, I'll say 5 minutes and I'll leave you. See, come on. No. Okay, now this is correct. This is details, listeners, all these things we have already learned. Listeners and rules are important here. See here, listeners and then rules. So you tell me here. I'll give you one task for you. Is this clear till here? Will you able to do the task? Additional task for you is this. No. Can you go and set up server 3 and server 4? Yes or no? Call it as server 3 and then server 4. Inside the servers 3 and server 4, you launch the EC2 instance. No, you launch the EC2 instance with user data. But in user data, do you remember we learned in application load balancer, we have routing features, host-based routing, path-based routing. Remember? Path meaning /admin example. So what you need to do is run the same thing. At the end, you put only /admin. You understand? Okay, I'll take the last line. Put the last line like this. Like this. And change, hey, this is admin page on EC2. Right? So this run the, oh, I see, all the script should be same. Only the last line should be like this. So if someone is accessing your load balancer with /admin, right? I want that to get redirected to these 2 servers. This is called path-based routing. Which one? Will you able to do this? Here also you should get index.html. Sorry, it is /admin. Here it should be /admin. And this should be in target group or not? Which target group? Admin target group. This is admin. So what you need to do is, do you know how to create a target group? First one, do you know how to launch an EC2 instance with /admin? Yes or no? Same script. Last line should be /admin. Don't put .html. Now your EC2 instance are working? Yes. How do you know your application is working or not? Do you take the IP address, put it in the browser? But IP address /admin you need to check. You understand what I'm saying? Here for server 3 and server 4, what you need to do is take the IP address, put it in the browser, and here you need to put /admin. Because it is /admin, no? And make sure that is working or not. And then you need to attach this to the load balancer or not? No, you need to attach the target group to the load balancer or not? How do you attach? This is important. See, go to load balancer. And here, you see here, rules. Click on the rules. Where is that? Do you see? Add rule. No. Add rule. What rule is this? Admin rule. Click on next. Add condition. What is a condition? What base routing is this? Path base. What is a path here? /admin. Add value. No. So confirm and click on next. And forward the target. Which target group you need to forward this? Admin TG. Click on admin TG, click on next and finish it. Then in the load balancer, if you put /admin, you should get the admin page. Bloody real-time example. Will you able to do this? You understand the task? The first task anywhere, it is clear for you. What is the second task? Second task is launch server 3 and server 4 with the user data with /admin. Make sure it is working with the /admin or not. After that, come to the load and you need to create a target group and register server 3 and server 4 in the admin target group. And then come to the load balancer, create a rule with /admin and forward that to admin TG and access the system. Will able to do this? No? Sorry, I took too much of your time. So please take the screenshots. You understand load balancer concept? So today you took Linux time. So that's the reason I extended. Otherwise, I would have completed on time. And then next one. Okay. Is it clear? So once you are done with it, please clean it up. Okay. You know how to clean it up. So please go with all the options here. And if I feel due to the time, if I miss anything, tomorrow I'll talk, but I have not missed anything, but let's see. Okay. Now, is it clear? Can you give final CC for today online? Great. So that is all, guys, for today. And I'll see you tomorrow with the next topic. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.